as long as you were living at home.
Weekly drug tests.
Are you kidding? All I have ever done is just destroy everything, and that just can't be my life. Killing you might not be the best, example of doing good, but I'm pretty sure it's better than doing nothing and, leaving you in here to rot. And I might also need some urine.
Oh, God.
That was a clip from the new movie Killing Eleanor, starring and written by our next guest. She's been seen in numerous roles over the past decade, like the movie The Sessions with Helen Hunt and the Amazon original series Goliath. Her latest movie is a thought-provoking, heartfelt dark comedy. Good morning, Annika Marks.
Oh, good morning. So nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, when we say dark comedy, tragidoid, comedoid, it sounds like an oxymoron, but really what it says is that you tap into a wider breadth of our emotions.
Yeah, I guess to me, life is just both. I think we use levity to survive hard things. So to me, dark comedy is just life. That's what life is.
As a child, you were kind of a wise old soul, if you will, oldest of 4 kids, but you had a lot of experiences young. Like you moved around a lot. I moved around a lot, right? So you had to kind of discover things and on your own. You say your parents were hippie scientists. Now, what exactly does that mean?
My dad went on to become a transplant surgeon, but they're just hippies at heart. They're world travelers, they're explorers, they're backpackers. So we grew up, in the mountains, incredibly active kids. They moved every few years to have new experiences. And so I feel like I kind of got the best of both worlds as a kid. Like I understood practical things, but I also really grew up loving adventure and feeling like I was free to be brave. And I think going into the arts requires a lot of courage. And so I think I was encouraged to do that by my upbringing.
Yeah. When I said old soul earlier, you're 3 years old at your grandparents' house. Everyone was watching old cartoons. You left to go watch Swan Lake. So there you go. Case proved. Okay. Getting into acting, that whole phrase that when one door closes, another one opens or a window opens. You wanted to be a dancer. But when your body started changing, you're like, okay, maybe that's not right for me. But you were guided into still being able to perform through acting.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think, I really loved ballet, that whole Swan Lake thing. I mean, I loved ballet and I really believed that I would be a professional ballerina. And so I felt like that was taken away from me as my body was changing. And that's a hard time for every girl. It's confusing and strange. And I felt betrayed by my body in a way. And so discovering that I could hold on to the thing that I loved the most, which was performing, and I could shift my focus to acting, where our flaws and our uniqueness is what makes us great. That was one of the biggest gifts of my life. And I really felt seen by the world of acting. And then I feel like acting led me right into writing. And so my life as an artist has just sort of been this natural progression where I feel like I've walked in a front door and then snuck in a back door and then gone in the front door and snuck in the back door. And as I've sort of evolved as a human, I've evolved as an artist. It's been a really beautiful journey.
Yeah. And we've watched you in that journey, The Sessions, The Fosters, The Last Tycoon, Waco, Goliath, and now with Killing Eleanor, which was based on kind of or inspired by a true life experience.
Yeah, I mean, a really long time ago, I was 21 years old and I was subletting this apartment from this old lady in Chelsea in Manhattan. And she had handwritten a lease on a yellow legal pad. And right before I signed it, she said, unless you want to agree to help kill me when I'm ready to go, in which case you could have the place for free. And I, laughed and signed it and assumed she was kidding. And I still think she was probably kidding. But it just never left my brain. I thought, even if she was kidding, it was such an interesting thought to be having. And I never stopped thinking about what would make someone get to a point in their life where they might even consider saying that to a stranger. And that's where this movie started for me.
Yeah. Give us the plot of this movie.
So it's about a terminally ill 80-year-old woman played by the brilliant Jenny O'Hara. And she wants to die on her own terms. And she is carrying around this ancient IOU that she had signed by this young woman who's always had trouble. And she tracks her down. And this woman who I play in the film is an addict and is struggling and at a low point in her own life. And she gets presented this IOU. And this old woman says, I don't want the money back. What I want is your help to end my life. And the addict also could use clean urine.
Just destroy everything.
So it's interesting. So there's this relationship there of give and take, but along the way we learn a lot of things. I got to tell you, just watching the trailer, I got really emotional because I remember my mom at 96 saying, I am done. I've done everything I need to do. I am done. And I'm like, well, Mom, I really can't do anything about that. And they're waiting on us for bingo, right? But I remember my mom, just that feeling that she had of, I really don't have anything to look forward to anymore. And I wouldn't be upset, she said. She goes, I wouldn't be upset if it ended today. And I'm like, but I'll miss you. She goes, that's you. What about me, right? So you did it. The dark comedy, you tapped into my emotions. And I think.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just happy to hear that it resonated for you because I think that's right. Like my grandfather died really slowly over 15 years, and he was like that classic strong, silent type. Like was a medic in World War II, and I watched him disintegrate in front of our eyes. And I remember thinking as a little kid, if he could end this, he would.
Yeah.
And so I think that's always been in my brain. Like I think we don't know how to have that conversation. It makes us uncomfortable.
But when you come close to it, it's funny because at the very minute that she had said, I'm done, she goes to bingo and she wins. And she's like, well, I just seem to have the winning streak. And all of a sudden she comes to life again. And then in Killing Eleanor, she's in the lavender field and it's lavender, right? And so it's interesting. It makes us all kind of take a look at life because at some point we'll all get there. And you're right, having that conversation of how you want to get there and being in control of that. Annika, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. Killing Eleanor is available today to stream on VOD streaming platforms, including Amazon Prime.